Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? Thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Awesome. Hello, Miss O'Neill, Mr. Olson, Mr. McGraw, who looks like he's on Mars right now. Hello, Miss Foot, Mr. Schoner, Mr. Flowers, Mr. Roger, Mr. Danny, Mr. Booth. We're going to give it probably about 90 seconds, and then we're going to dive right in. Please grab pen or paper, or if you prefer being on a computer or an iPad, whatever medium, but this is going to be a note-taking session. I'm going to give you some action steps by the end of today's webinar. Really excited for this. I've taught the 7 levels of marketing to clients before, not something I've ever offered on a free webinar. Hello, Miss Foster. Nice to see you. Give it 60 more seconds, guys. Hello, Mr. Weber. I'm gearing up for a really exciting and busy weekend. Melody Johnson is having her Escape conference in St. Pete, which is about a 30-minute drive for me. And I am doing a VIP workshop on Thursday, and we are the platinum sponsors. GrowPro is the platinum sponsors for Friday and Saturday. And I'm also speaking again on Saturday. So I'm really excited for that. If you don't know who Melody Johnson is, she's the creator of the Skills curriculum, very, very popular children's martial arts curriculum. And she's having an event this weekend. I do believe that you can purchase a virtual ticket if you need to fill that learning bucket up a little bit more. But that is going on this weekend. All right, looks like got a few more people pouring in. Hello, Miss or Mr. Gustwick, Miss Johnson, Miss Tamara, our friends in Rainham. That's Mr. Rapold's school, right? Personal Best Karate. Awesome. Love Mr. Rapold, amazing human being. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into implementing the 7 levels of marketing. And just to see who's paying attention, in the comments, do me a favor, just drop down the city that you're watching from today. What city are you from? Let me know. I like engagement. Seeing that come in the chat box makes it really exciting for me. All right. Canandalugua. Man, I butchered that one, huh? New York. Got it. In New York. In England, wow. Dallas, Texas, Missouri, more New York, Texas, Ontario. I got a couple of different countries going on today. That's pretty epic. I love it. Awesome. All right. This is a super important topic. And let me pre-frame this. If you've heard, has anybody heard me talk about the 7 levels of marketing before? I know Miss Palos, you're Maya client, Mr. McGraw, Maya client, right? So it's something that I have taught clients in the past, never done it on a free webinar before, but just because, this is so important when we are dedicating ourselves to continued education, which to me, like, progress is happiness. So when we dedicate ourselves to continuous education, hello, Mr. Miller, Mr. Lawrence, just because you intellectually understand something doesn't make you a master of it. And our oldest son, I'm his bonus mom. His name's Darian. He's our operations manager here at GrowPro. And when he turned 19, we got Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University for him. Okay, if you have kids, I think this is absolutely a course that any teenager, any young adult should go through. Anybody that's about to get married, it's definitely a course you should go through. But he would listen to a lot of Dave Ramsey, like his podcasts and stuff like that. And he went through the course. And, you know, as a parent trying to sometimes talk to your child about, you know, life skills and strategies, it can go in one ear and out the other. And we were talking about a concept and he was like, yeah, I already know that. And the concept had to do with budgeting. And I said, okay, well then show me your bank account. And clearly he understood the concept, but he was not implementing the concept. And I think that is, one of the biggest issues that we have is not recognizing the difference between motion and action. Right now, you guys are in motion, right? You're on this webinar. You want to learn what these 7 levels of marketing are, how to implement it. But that is different than taking action, which is actually executing on it. Okay. And what we're going to go over, especially with the time period that we're in right now, we're about to enter the 4th quarter of 2021. 4th quarter in the martial arts industry, we typically, right, there's ebbs and flows and cycles. We typically can see retention issues in the 4th quarter. Why? Because it's holidays, right? It's like the second that pumpkin spice latte hits Starbucks and hits Dunkin', all the excuses start pouring out to why we're not going to go to the gym or we're not going to do the extracurricular activities. Okay. So retention needs to be a huge focus for you. And obviously recruiting, because if we are losing students, we've got to make them up. And oftentimes when I look at school owners' marketing strategies, what I end up seeing is just them going all in on one marketing strategy. And my recommendation is to not put all your eggs in one basket. Facebook recently put out an article where they admitted and stated that ad costs since last year at this time have risen 47%. So if you were getting leads at $10, you're probably getting them at 15. If you were getting them at 20, you're probably getting them at 26 or 27. The reason why this occurred is because of the iOS 14 update. Apple and Facebook are at war with the privacy issues. Facebook makes its majority of its money through ads. So it has had to hire full-on engineering departments to rework the algorithm to figure out how it can keep its customers, us, small businesses that are advertising on the platform. But it has gotten more expensive. And I mean, everything is getting more expensive, right? I got gas the other day. My jaw nearly, dropped. I went to go buy my wife flowers at Target. And like normally a bouquet of flowers that would be like $8 or $9 was like $20. I didn't get them. Does that make me a bad wife? I don't know. I was like, it wasn't in the budget, right? But it just seems like all costs are increasing. So because we know that Facebook has stated that ad costs have increased from 47%, we've got to make sure that we're not just putting all of those eggs in one basket and we have multiple lines out in the ocean. Now, when I go through these 7 levels of marketing, there's going to be some that you're already doing that you're knocking out of the park probably. And then there's going to be others that you're not implementing. And if you try to implement all 7 at one time, what's going to happen? You're going to get overwhelmed and then you're just not going to do it. So you need to make sure that we just start with one, implement that one. Once you have the system down, then you can go to the next one. Okay. So if you're ready to hear 7 levels of marketing, give me a 7 in the chat box and I'm going to share my screen here. There we go. I see a couple of them. Thank you for those of you that participate when I ask to go into the chat box. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Are we good? 7 levels. Okay. So marketing in general, all right. I have this concept that I like to call the marketing bridge, all right. And when somebody says, I need help with marketing, it's like, well, what aspect, what subset skill do you need help with? And developing all of these different subset skills is ultimately going to make you a better marketer. So let's just kind of go through some of these, okay? Content creation. That's creating posts for your organic social media, okay? So that's definitely something you guys have to do for your martial arts school. Creating offers, right? You can't outmarket a bad offer. We got to have a strong offer. Creating a funnel, which is just a place that you can drive traffic to so that they can ultimately book an appointment. That would typically look like you know, a Facebook ad going to your landing page on your website. They give you their name, email, and phone number, and you take them to a sales page where they can either book an appointment or purchase a trial. That's what I mean by funnel. Database reactivation. That's your email campaigns, your text message campaigns. Definitely something we've got to do in our school. Facebook ads, Google ads, both of them. You've got to be running them. Copywriting. To me, copywriting out of all of these subset skills is the hardest. And everything we do in our business is copywriting. That's writing or speaking to persuade. Okay. Follow up. I think that's probably the biggest issue in our industry in terms of marketing is lack of follow up. Creating a lead magnet, right? What do we have on our website to be able to get somebody to opt in? Blogs. Man, blogs can be super frustrating. It takes a very, very long time to write. You guys didn't open up your martial arts school because you wanted to write essays, right? Social media management, video marketing. Guys, I could have like created multiple pages of just these subset of skills. It's a lot. And I completely understand that as a marketer who has collected all of these skills. I'm curious, out of the ones on the screen, what is the one that you struggle with the most? So take a look at that. Look at the different ones. Sorry, my handwriting's a little sloppy. But which one do you struggle with the most? Let me know in the chat box. And you can't just say all of them. You got to pick one. Who's going to be the first person to participate? Let's see. Random, thank you. Keeping up with the posting, social media management, blogs, follow-up, copywriting, between copywriting and video marketing, follow-up, offers, lead magnets, copyright. I'm seeing a lot of copywriting. I'm seeing a lot of posts on here. Google ads, never done them. Video marketing. Okay, so kind of a variety here, but I'm seeing a lot of copywriting and social media management, which is your content creation and posting. Okay. And yeah, it's a lot of hats that we have to wear. And in our business, we always have to make the decision of, am I going to spend the time and the energy to learn how to do it myself, or am I going to outsource it? And some of these things can absolutely be outsourced, and some are a lot of money to outsource and others not so often. But when you say you have a marketing issue, you have to be a little bit more specific on which subset of skills are you struggling with, okay? And the 7 levels of marketing have these different subset of skills. And that's why I said trying to implement all 7 or learn all 7 is going to be overwhelming. So just start with one, okay? As a school owner, for those of you that don't know, I own a BJJ school here in Tampa, Florida. So I'm in the trenches just like you. I believe that there's, kind of 3 major frustrations in regards to our marketing. Lack of consistency with lead flow. There are ebbs and flows in our industry. There's certain times during the year that you are going to see an uptick in leads, right? Back to school season is usually one of them. In the beginning of the year, everybody's New Year's resolutions is another one. But regardless of those ebbs and flows, it could be very frustrating if there's not a consistency with our lead flow. And we need to know what that number is in order to be able to hit the sign up number. This is a question I ask often to a school owner is, well, okay, you said you wanted 20 new students this month. Well, how many leads do you need? And they go, what do you mean? I go, well, do you keep track of your stats? Do you know what your conversion rates are? Because if you do, you can figure out exactly how many leads that you need. Another frustrating aspect is that there's just so many options. Where do I focus on, right? Like, should I be on YouTube? Should I be on Pinterest? Should I be on LinkedIn? Should I be on TikTok? Okay. There are always going to be new platforms. Where you should be is where your audience is. And I've been getting a lot of questions about TikTok. Is that something that we should be implementing right now? To me, if you have not completely leveraged Facebook, then that is really going to be a distraction. But I will tell you, out of all the platforms, do you guys know which one Facebook is having the most issues with? It's TikTok. the time that people are spending on TikTok is increasing at such a fast rate that it's actually going over the amount of time people are spending on Facebook. So there are a lot of options out there. Where do we need to focus? And I do believe that Facebook and Google need to be the first two platforms that you completely leverage before you start looking into these other platforms. Okay. I promised my team I would never make them do a TikTok dance. And I don't know, I might put my foot in my mouth and have to, renege on that, because that's what people are watching. That's the type of content that they're consuming right now. Okay. And then finally, how do I implement it? Right. Okay. I understand what I need to do, but how do I implement it? And we're going to touch on that today. And we're going to do that through the 7 levels of marketing. It's going to give you a consistent framework. It's going to give you a step-by-step checklist. Okay. This is number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3. So you know exactly what to focus on. And I'm going to show you how we implement it. Now, I will tell you, in order to implement it, it takes work. Okay. We do so through a Google Calendar, which I'm going to share with you today. Okay. What is so great about the 7 levels of marketing is it does provide you with a huge opportunity, especially if you haven't been hitting all of these. Maybe you've only been focusing on 1 or 2. Okay. Now you have other opportunities to become what I call the best known dojo. It's the name of my book that's coming out. My ultimate goal as a marketer is to make my clients the best known dojo in their 5-mile radius. Some people call that like 5-mile famous. Okay. And the way that you do that is that you are in front of your audience at every turn. When they open their email, they see you. When they open their text messages, they see you. When they go onto their phone, they see your app. When they go on Facebook, they see you. When they go on Google and search for martial arts in your area, they see you. When they go on YouTube and they're trying to find how-to videos on self-defense, they see you. And that's that concept of being omnipresent. And implementing these 7 levels will help you become omnipresent so you can be not only the best dojo, but the best known dojo. Like, I know all of us think we have the best instructors and the best curriculum and the best programs. That doesn't matter if people don't know where you are and they don't know if you exist. Okay. So implementing this was going to help you generate consistent leads, which ultimately means you can impact more lives. So level number 1, write this down: organic social media. And when I asked which subset of skills did you guys struggle with, a lot of you said posting. Okay. There are 5 aspects to having a results-driven organic social media presence. The first one is consistency of posts. Okay. There are definite plug and play options out there for you. Okay. Maya has the Maya social media calendar. I believe Spark has a social media calendar as well. The issue with these social media calendars, while they provide really great resources, is that it's not authentic material, which we're going to get to in a second. In order to be consistent with posts, you've got to realize what type of personality you have. Okay. Some people, like, very, very organized, routine people, scheduled people, can keep up with it doing it on a day-to-day basis. Most people can't. So if you are struggling with consistency of posts, you need to pick a 2 to 3 hour time block once a month. You need to go to your Facebook business page, go to the creator studio, and you need to schedule out your posts. Okay. I would love for you to aim for 3 posts a week. I'm not telling you to post every single day. I'm not telling you to post multiple times a day, because that's going to set you up for failure. 3 times a week. If you have the ability, you have the staff, you have the resources and the time to do more, that's great. But at a minimum, 3 times a week. You have got to be consistent with this. Okay. The second aspect of your organic social media is you need social proof. If you're running ads and somebody clicks on your Facebook page and they're looking at your Facebook page and you're not posting consistently, you don't have any recommendations, there's only stock images that you've been posting that you found on Google, and they can't see what your school looks like or who your staff is, it is going to be harder to convert them. Okay. There are so many options. People are being bombarded every single day online that you really got to stand out. And you can talk all day until you're blue in the face about how great you are, but let other people do it. So when's the last time you did a hard push for Facebook recommendations and Google reviews? This should be something that is systemized, whether it's through automations with your emails, automations with your text messages. Maybe you've systemized it at a graduation ceremony. You ask parents to share their child's success story. And at the end of the graduation, can say, wow, that was some really amazing success stories. We'd love if you guys could share that on Google with us or on Facebook. Okay. But your social proof is going to speak louder than anything that you've ever said. So let other people brag on you with recommendations. They're no longer reviews. You can't get starred reviews anymore. It's either yes, I recommend, or no, I don't. And guys, when people take the time to do that, don't, just like respond to it. Okay. Tell them thank you. Thank you for leaving this review. This third one, authenticity, goes in with the first one, which is consistency of posts. And I think one of the reasons why most school owners are not consistent with the posts is because they don't know what to post. If you had just a library of images and videos and motivational quotes, I would pretty much guarantee that you would be much more motivated to actually post consistently. The struggle is if you don't have that resource library, now you're staring at a blank screen, and you go to Google and you type in motivational quote and you find some blurred image of a quote over the backdrop of a mountain scene, and you post it and you're like, all right, I'm done. The key to authenticity is setting up a system so that whoever's responsible for the social media posting has the resources that they need literally at their fingertips. And I've shared this numerous times. We have a photographer that comes in the beginning of the month. They stay and they take pictures of all of the classes. They get mini videos of all of the classes that are going on, and they dump it in a Google Drive folder. And now my social media manager has tons of resources at her fingertips in order to be able to post. You can absolutely leverage things like Maya's social media calendar. But what I would do is, if you see one of the posts that they're recommending you to post and it's an image of a kid that's not your student, they're not wearing your colored uniforms, take a similar picture and use yours instead. Every business that I know is trying to become more and more automated, and they're becoming less and less human. You guys know what it feels like to call your bank and you've got to talk to 17 robots before you can even talk to a human being. Make your business human. And that means you've got to be posting authentic pictures and videos, which means you just need a system in place so you can consistently get that. And I just gave it to you. Okay. This is huge, guys. This is what's going to separate you versus your competitors, because almost all of your competitors are using stock images in their Facebook ads, stock video as well. And people see that. Okay. Number 4 aspect of organic social media, which is probably one that many school owners struggle with, regardless if they want to admit it, is videos and Facebook Lives. Okay. Guys, not everybody's great on video. Some people are wet mops on video. We get school owners that submit videos to us and they want us to put them in the ads, and we say no, because we're going to be like, people are going to run away from your school if we put that out. It is a skill that you have to develop. The same way you had to develop your sidekick, being on video, shooting Facebook Lives is a skill you have to develop. How do we develop skills? We practice. It is the #1 type of consumed content. And the videos that are being consumed right now, does anybody know what the most popular videos that are being consumed right now? I just told you what platform just passed Facebook in terms of number of minutes spent per day. TikTok. Does TikTok have really long videos, or do they have short videos? They're short little videos. Mr. Lawrence says cat videos. I'm talking more about the length, right? 15, 30-second short videos is what is really, really hot right now. So what type of video content can you produce, whether that's parenting tips, if you focus on if you're a kid's school, if you're predominantly an adult school, women's self-defense tips, but can you keep it short? Because video content is the #1 type of content that's consumed, but people have the attention span of less than a goldfish, okay? The reason why videos and Facebook Lives are so important today in 2021 is because of the iOS 14 update. When people have iPhones and they opt out of tracking, you can no longer track them on your website, which is one of the most powerful aspects of the Facebook Pixel. You can't do that anymore if they opt out. You can still track them if they watch your videos inside of Facebook. Okay, that did not change at all. Facebook Lives perform better because people get notifications when you go live. You've seen somebody go live, you get that little notification in the bottom left that this person has gone live. This is probably one of the areas that can help you move the needle the most, is your video and your Facebook Lives. And then finally, leveraging events. Anytime you have an event in your school, you need to put it on Facebook, guys. Why? Because #1, it's a touch point. Even if it's an event for your students, like a parent night out event. How many of us have, let's say, parent night out event, you put it in the newsletter, you put it, you send out multiple emails, you send out a blast text message, you make Matt Chats announcements, you have flyers in your school, you hand out little 4x4s, you post in your Facebook group, you post on all your social media platforms, you make phone calls, and you still have a parent that says, oh, I didn't know that you had a parent night out event. It's like, how many more ways could we have communicated that with you? So it's just a touch point that you have, okay? So anytime you're hosting events, make sure you put them on Facebook. If it's something like a community event with a mass intro that you're utilizing for recruiting purposes, you have got to put money behind it. Just creating the event is not enough today. Facebook has pulled back our reach to 5 to 6%. Meaning all of your followers, let's say you have thousands of followers on your Facebook page, only 5 to 6% of them are going to see your posts unless you boost it. Why is Facebook doing that? Are there more people on the platform than ever before? Yes. Are there more businesses on the platform than ever before? Yes. That timeline is limited real estate. There's only a limited amount that they can show you. So they're basically saying, oh, you're a business. If you want us to put your stuff in front of your followers, you got to pay. It's unfortunate, but it's just the way that it is. So with these strategies, these 5 organic social media strategies, consistent posts, recommendations, authenticity, Facebook and Facebook Lives and videos, and leveraging events, when you are doing this consistently, you still need to take money behind it and boost it. So if you've got a really strong post, or a really strong Facebook Live or video, or you have an event that is a recruiting event, this is the only time I will tell you to boost something, all right? You should not be boosting things to try to get name, email, and phone number. You should be boosting things to get it out in front of more people, so your retargeting ads can now show them an offer. So out of these five, consistent posts, recommendations, authenticity, videos, and leveraging events, 1 through 5. Let me hear in the comments, tell me the one that you struggled with the most. Is it consistency of posts? Is it we're not getting enough recommendations? Is it authenticity? We're not taking pictures and videos of our students? Is it we're not doing enough videos? Or is it we're not putting out events? All right. I see them coming in. Again, a wide variety. All right. Pick one out of those, guys. Don't try to do them all. Pick one. If it's the consistency of posts, I highly recommend you time block on your calendar once a month, a 2 to 3 hour time block, and you schedule out your posts. Okay. So level number one, organic social media. Now I got good news and I got some not so good news. Okay. And Tamara has a question. I'll get to that in 1 second. Out of these 7 levels, organic social media is the easiest, and I'm going to put that in quotations, in regards to sweat equity. Okay, if you ask me, do I want to go out and stand in a booth at a festival in 100-degree heat in Florida to get leads? I'm going to say, nope. I would rather just sit in the air conditioning and put posts out. The issue is that the quality of leads and the quantity of leads, they get, the further you go down, the better they get. If I had an opportunity to show 50 people a social media post, or I had an opportunity to have 50 conversations with people at a festival, those 50 conversations are going to produce a better quality of lead. Okay. So we're going easiest to hardest. Okay. Tamara says, how do you balance privacy and social media pics? Great question. So inside of our waiver, we have specific bullet points that, you know, are things that are really important, like our freeze policy, our cancellation policy, our picture and video policy. And we state very clearly that pictures and videos will be taken every day and they will be used with marketing, and they have to initial it. If somebody has an issue with that, they are not a good fit for our school. That's it. That's it. You're not a good fit for our school. How am I going to remember 1 or 2 kids whose mom doesn't want them in pictures and videos? And now we've got to make sure that if we take a group class, they've got to go out to the side, or I got to put an emoji sticker over their face. You can do that maybe if you have 50 students. When you start hitting 200, 300, 400 students, you're not going to be able to keep up with that. And one of the really great feelings, guys, as a business owner is knowing who your customer avatar is. Do you think the family that doesn't want you taking pictures of their kids is going to be helping you get more leads on social media? Do you think they're going to be active in your Facebook group? Do you think they're going to? No, they're just not. That is not the ideal client that we want. And I'd rather take that spot on the mat, because it's all about how many spots we have on the mat, and put it with a family that loves taking pictures of their kids in our classes and putting them online. It's 2021, right? There's cameras on every street corner. Your phone is listening to you right now. I'm going to start talking about Dyson vacuum cleaners. And in a couple of hours, you're going to see an ad for a Dyson vacuum cleaner. It's the world we live in today. So that's my answer. Does that mean it's the right answer? No, but that is our answer. So we do have it in our waiver that, you know, we are unable or that we will use these in marketing. Okay. And the other option would be, okay, well, then our group classes wouldn't be great for you. We do offer private lessons. And in a private lesson, we can guarantee that pictures wouldn't occur. Okay. All right. That was level 1. Here we go with level number 2. All right. Level number 2 is your Google My Business / search engine optimization. Google My Business / search engine optimization. I actually just put a post out in the martial arts entrepreneurs group. And it was all about Google My Business. Let me find it right here. Boom. So this is really, really neat. I got this email from Google My Business that one of our pictures had 5,000 views. It's just a random picture from a tournament. And I was just curious, like, wonder how many other views the rest of my pictures have. So I went in. Our first picture, which is our cover picture, has 1.12 million views. Over 1 million people have viewed that picture. That's a lot of people looking at our Google My Business profile. That's a lot of potential prospects. Here's some user-generated content. These 2 pictures here, this was user-generated, meaning a parent posted it to our Google My Business. 655 views from a picture that a parent posted. This picture here, another user-generated picture, 7,000 views. 5,000 views, 1,000 views, 9,000 views. Those are people viewing our photo on Google My Business. And this is why I believe it's one of the most underutilized platform, particularly in our industry. You see like service-based industries like roofers and maids and plumbers and HVAC. They optimize the heck out of their Google My Business listing, okay? So I did a complete webinar on how to optimize your Google My Business listing. If you go to growproagency.com, you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see all of the replays of all of my webinars are there. If you have not optimized your Google My Business listing, you need to do that. What is the Google My Business listing? If somebody is searching for your school, they drove by, they see your sign, they go to Google, they type it in, this is what they're going to see. When you optimize it, when you go through like these 10 different steps that I break down, you have a better chance of showing up on the Google map. So if somebody Googles martial arts in your area, we can see Google ads at the top. We can see the 3-pack, which are the top 3 locations on the Google map. And then you get your organic listings, okay? One of the ways that you can help improve your organic reach, where you show up at the kind of near the middle to bottom of Google, is through blogs. Okay, now let's keep it real. I don't know if any of you opened up your martial arts school because you wanted to be writing blogs. Okay, this is something that I 100% believe you should outsource, whether it's utilizing the Maya social media calendar, whether it's going to Fiverr and hiring somebody to write a blog. I don't believe you need to be spending your precious time writing blogs, but it is a great strategy if done properly with utilizing keywords and backlinks that can help drive more traffic to your website. The other strategy with blogs is, let's say you did have a blog and you put it on your website. Now you can post the link to that blog on your social media profiles. People will click on it, and now you're driving traffic to your website, okay? The last aspect that we're going to cover, I know I'm going a little out of order here, are Google reviews, okay? And I have another webinar called Triple Digit Google Reviews on how you can hit triple digit numbers. To me, once you hit triple digits, you are in a complete league of your own, all right? One of the first things that I start doing before I start working with somebody, whether it's a mentor or it's a business, is I go and look at their reviews, all right? And it's kind of crazy. You know, I've done a little research on some of the consultants in our industry, and you go look at their business and their Google reviews, and it's not good. People trust Google reviews. They didn't 10 to 15 years ago. They do now. They base their decisions off of that. And when you start to hit that triple digits, again, it puts you in a different league. When somebody is searching for martial arts in my area, if they see one school that has 40 and they see mine that has 190, who do you think's getting clicked on first? I'm going to get the first click. That doesn't mean I'm going to get the sale, but I'm going to get that first click. Okay. So in terms of your Google My Business and your SEO, blogs, Google reviews, and optimizing that Google My Business is so important. And when people are searching for you, when people have an intent and they're trying to find martial arts schools in your area, this is going to help you populate higher. Okay. Saw some chats come in. Let me just make sure I got everything here. All right, Ms. Johnson, how do I claim my address from previous owners' Google listing? I've submitted the request form a couple of times. You know, working with Google the same way working with Facebook, it's unfortunate. It's not like they have like a phone line that you can just call up. If the previous owners are, you know, I don't know the exact situation that you're in, if they are willing to, you know, to be helpful, potentially having them, you know, reach out as well. Typically what happens when you have a Google My Business listing, if the address changed, then they will send a card that has like a 5-digit code that will allow you to claim your Google My Business listing. My email is midgettwister@gmail.com. If you want to shoot me an email with a little bit more information, I can help that way. Will the slides and recording be available later? Yes, sir. Is Google reviews better than Facebook reviews? Great question, Master Betty. I mean, if you had to, like if you put a gun in my head and said, all right, pick one, I'm going to tell you Google reviews all day. All right. They're just more powerful. Okay. Great questions. All right. Level number 3, paid ads. Okay. Paid ads. As somebody that owns a marketing agency, I do believe this is something you should outsource unless you absolutely love it. If you're like, man, Chris, I dream about the ads manager. I love going in and setting up Google ads. I love looking and analyzing data. That's one thing. But I don't know very many school owners that feel that way. But your third level of marketing is paid ads. And at this stage in the game, and it's just going to continue to be this way, schools that don't do this are going to lose out to the schools that do it. All right. Google ads and Facebook and Instagram ads is where I would put your focus. You know, I get a lot of questions about YouTube ads. When you think of YouTube, typically people use YouTube for how-to videos, right? Like, how do I do this? How do I change my oil? Right? How do I do a double leg takedown if somebody's a martial artist already, right? How do I get my child to listen the first time? How do I get my child to put their iPad down, right? That's typically what YouTube is utilized for. And if you have a high quality professional video, you can definitely use it to gain more awareness. But I want you guys, I want everybody, let me just see, I know a ton of you don't have your cameras on, but those of you that do have your cameras on, or you can tell me in the chat if you don't, if you're on YouTube, how often do you watch the full commercial? What do you hit? You hit the skip ads button. And oftentimes, I don't know about you, I get pissed off when I see that, because I just want to watch the video. So what could potentially happen is a negative feeling when somebody sees your brand. There's this guy that teaches YouTube, which I just think that it's kind of funny. I see his ad every single time I go on YouTube, and I just can't wait to hit skip ad. I do think that it can help you with more awareness. I believe that your ad spend is better put towards Facebook and Google ads to get name, email, and phone number. Okay, I get this question a lot, so I figured that I would break that down for you. All right. So level number 3, paid ads. You can do it yourself. You can have a team member do it, or you can outsource it to a company. Again, every decision in our business in regards to skill sets, we've got to decide, am I going to do it myself, learn it, put the energy in it, keep up with it, or am I going to hire it out? Okay. 4th level, email marketing and SMS. And I think this is another huge marketing strategy that school owners do not leverage properly. I think if I ask you, do you send out an email? You'll say yes, but typically they're one-off emails, meaning, all right, we've got a community event next weekend. I'm going to send this one email that goes out. Think about your own inbox. All right. I mean, I haven't checked my email yet today, but let me just make sure there's nothing too crazy in here. All right, so these are all my emails, and I literally checked this right before we started. So that's how inundated my email box is. All right, that's a delete, that's a delete, that's a delete. These are all deletes, 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 deletes. Boom. I didn't even read the subject line. I just know that I don't really want to read anything from that person. That can happen when you just send one-off emails. Your email just gets deleted. Even if it gets deleted, will they see your school name? Yes. So you're top of mind, which is good. But obviously, we want them to open the email, click on whatever's inside of the email. And this is why you can't just send one-offs. You have to send a campaign. And to me, a campaign is a minimum of 3 emails. Okay. You have a community event coming up. There needs to be at least 3 emails in there. How many of you have ever missed a text message? I'm not saying how many of you haven't responded to a text message, but how many of you have missed a text message? It's very rare that you miss text messages because you're in your text box all the time. You're going to see it. Doesn't mean you're not going to respond. It doesn't mean you're going to respond to it. But guys, if text messaging, SMS messaging, if you don't have that capability in 2021, you need that. And many of the CRMs can do that for you. But one of the things I want you to consider is a concept called database reactivation. Okay. Over the years, you have acquired lots of contacts, lots of emails, lots of phone numbers, lots of names. And many of them have never resulted into a new student. Whether it's they came to a birthday party, whether they met you at a festival, whether they opted into your ad. A database reactivation campaign is a way to get them back into your ecosystem. And this is something that not a lot of school owners do. Okay, they'll send a one-off email for a particular, event that they're having, but they don't have continuous email automations that check in with the person. And one of my favorite database reactivation sequences is called the 7-word email. And it's just a simple, are you still interested in martial arts? Okay. Mr. Betty on here on this call, he was one of my very first Grow Pro clients, and he's got a school outside of Atlanta, Georgia. He crushes it. I mean, some months he's getting over 100 leads. He's got a lot of lead follow-up to do. He would be a perfect example of somebody that should be utilizing database reactivation because not all of those leads convert. Okay. Next level of marketing. And we're going old school here. All right. Print marketing / direct mail. All right. We do direct mail campaigns 2 to 3 times a year. We will do them during those 2 to 3 times a year where you really need to go pedal to the metal with your marketing. And that's just the ebb and flow of our industry. And that's going into summer, coming out of summer, and going into the new year. Am I telling you need to be doing direct marketing campaigns every month? No, it's not cheap, right? Not only do you have to pay for the printing, you have to pay for the postage and the delivery. All right. And it probably can be around $1,000 to $1,500, depending on how many houses you want to go to. One of the cool things about direct mail right now is that people are just so inundated with ads online that getting into their snail mail box, getting into their mailbox can be a great way to kind of break that monotony that they're seeing just of Facebook ads over and over again. Again, it's not something you need to do every month, but I would consider looking at that during those main 3 times of the year. You can do it through the U.S. Postal Service. Just go to USPS.com, and they have what they call EDDM, every door direct mail. You can pick the routes that are closest to your school. You can pick routes based off of income and demographics. You can get pretty granular with it. Unfortunately, it's not like Facebook where you can choose parents, right? So maybe a grandparent is getting, the direct mail, or it's a neighbor and right next door, they, maybe they have a friend that they think would be interested in your offer. All right. But old school marketing, guys, still does work, but it's not something I would recommend doing every single month. And anytime that we have any form of event in our school, whether it's a recruiting event like a buddy day or a buddy week, if you are not utilizing print marketing and having tangible items that people can pass out, as well as putting it online, like a Facebook event, like we talked about earlier, you're just not going to see your numbers as high. Okay. We got to remember, if I polled you guys right now and I said, do you prefer pen to paper when writing notes? Do you prefer typing it on a computer, or do you prefer like an iPad, right? And there's other note-taking systems as well. We would see a bunch of different answers there. People like different mediums. So same thing, you might have people that would prefer to see the information in a Facebook event online, and then somebody that would prefer a tangible piece of paper that has all of the info on it. Okay. All right. Number 6, we're wrapping up here. The phone. This is everybody's least favorite marketing level. It's kind of crazy how nobody wants to be on the phone. My voicemail literally says, don't call me, text me. Like I tell people, this is my preferred level and way of communication. So if you need me, text me. Does that mean I won't get on the phone? Of course not. I will get on the phone. That's just my preferred method. But the phone is still the lifeline of your business, okay? And when you are making outgoing phone calls for a particular offer, so we have October coming up here pretty soon. What holiday is in October? We obviously have Halloween. Ninja tip with your marketing, use the holidays to disguise the repetition of your offer. So let's say you wanted to put out a Halloween offer, okay? Let's say you were doing a Halloween trunk or treat that was open to your community. Okay, let's use that example because I know a lot of you do Halloween parties and trunk or treats, and you can utilize that as a recruiting event, not just a retention event. You're going to take the time to put together a huge trunk or treat, which is a lot of effort. You need a lot of people to participate with their trunks for it to be a success. You might as well make it a recruiting event on top of making it a retention event. So now you have all of these leads of people that have opted in over the months, over the last year, and you go through the 4 steps of selling. Hi, Mrs. Smith. This is Professor Chris over at Gracie Pack. The reason why I'm calling is because I noticed that you were interested in getting some more information about our martial arts classes, but we actually have this really fun and amazing community trunk or treat that we wanted to invite you and Johnny to come to. It's not a martial art, and you just go through these steps of selling, guys. The reason I'm calling, I sell it, I paint the picture of how much fun it is, right? We're going to be playing pumpkin bowling. They're going to be doing a trunk or treat. We have giveaways. We're going to have a DJ. It's going to be a blast, right? You list out and you sell it. And then you have a call to action with urgency. Because we need to know how many people are coming and how much candy that we need to have to pass out and how many trunks, I wanted to know if this was something that you would be interested in coming with Johnny. We're going to be having it Saturday at 6 p.m. Can you make it? It makes making phone calls a little less miserable when you have a framework, okay? This is the lifeline of your business. I notice a lot of the younger kids that I employ, I'm going to put their name kids in quotes, right? I've got 22-year-olds, 24-year-olds. They shy from making these phone calls. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing it, all right? And then finally, the last up, face-to-face, okay? I just told you this weekend, where am I going? I'm going to Melody Johnson's Escape event. I'm speaking on Thursday and on Saturday. Grow Pro Agency is a sponsor. We have a booth. We even have, we're bringing Street Fighter, the arcade game, and I'm going to be taking down so many school owners in that video game, right? So we have a booth. What is that arcade game going to do? It's going to attract people to our booth. Hey guys, I practice what I preach. And I know that booths can not always be the thing that we want to do at the top of our list, but face-to-face interactions, there's nothing more powerful than that, okay? The key to a booth is having an attractor and having a call to action. Typically, the call to action that we will do in our martial arts school is inviting them to a free community event the following weekend. I'm not trying to sell you a $99 trial while you're at an arts and crafts festival. Like, you didn't come to the arts and crafts festival to buy martial arts lessons. Okay, so we need an attractor that brings them to the booth, and then we need a call to action. All right, and a lot of schools have demo teams that they'll bring to these festivals as well. But face-to-face marketing is super powerful, guys. Like I told you before, if I had an option of 50 people seeing my Facebook ad, or I had an option to have 50 conversations at a booth, I'm going to choose that booth every day of the week and twice on Sunday, because they're going to be higher quality leads. Because what must come before the conversion? A conversation. You got to have a conversation before the conversion happens. All right. So those are the 7 levels. We talked about the 3 major marketing months, going into summer, coming out of summer, and then going into the new year. Okay. Those are the times where, hey, maybe normally you do 4 of the levels of marketing. During those times, you need to do 6 to 7. Okay. So again, that's going into summer, coming out of summer, and going in the new year. All right, Chris, I get it. I got to do these 7 levels. I'm not going to try to implement all of them at once. I'm going to start with one. But how do I hold myself accountable? How do I hold my team accountable? How do I implement this? All right. You're probably not going to want to hear this word, but guess what? You got to be organized. I don't know school owners that have the ability to implement this level of marketing without being organized. And I would pretty much guarantee every single one of you have an event calendar. You have a calendar, whether it's a pen and paper calendar, whether it's on, Microsoft Office, whether it's a Google calendar. I guarantee you have a calendar that has your events on it. When's your parent night out event? When's your family fun night? When's your Halloween party? When's your holiday party? The more important question is, do you have a marketing calendar? And most school owners just don't. Do you have a calendar that says, okay, our Halloween trunk or treat this year is on October 30th. So that means email number 1 needs to go on this date. Email number 2 needs to go out on this date. Email number 3 needs to go out on this date. That means social media ads need to be launched by this date. That means the text message campaign needs to go out by this date. That is where most schoolers end up dropping the ball. And we utilize a Google Calendar. This is my actual Google Calendar for October 2021. This is our calendar for next month. You're going to notice the green is all of the marketing. The orange are when our events are. We've got a Rise Above Bullying event. Guys, October is Bully Awareness Month. If you are not leveraging a community event on bullying, you are missing out. Okay? Parents Night Out event, when our Halloween party is. And then you're going to notice in green, these are all of the marketing actions that need to take place. So we've got that Rise Above Bullying event that I told you about. Look what we have here. Email number 1, Rise Above Bullies. Email number 2, Rise Above Bullies. Email number 3, email number 4. We have when postcards need to go out. We have something as simple as errands and inventory. When do we go get our supplies? So this is much more than just a marketing calendar. But my recommendation is look at your largest events. And I think, in October, doing a Halloween party is a great place to start, whether it's a trunk or treat, or maybe you do a Halloween parent night out event. And then you go through the 7 levels of marketing. So we'll use the trunk or treat event as the example. I'm going to start with level number 1. I'm going to do organic social media posts about the event. I'm going to start those about 3 to 4 weeks out. For my Google My Business and search engine optimization, I'm going to make sure that on Google My Business, I have my trunk or treat event on there. You can actually put events on Google My Business. I'm going to launch paid ads on Facebook to try to recruit more of my community to my trunk or treat. I'm going to send out a 3-part email, 2-part SMS series on my trunk or treat to my entire list. I'm going to skip the direct mail for the trunk or treat. I'm going to make phone calls to all of my hot leads. Anybody that's opted in within the last 90 days that came in and did an intro or booked an appointment and didn't show up, I'm going to start with them. Those are my hot leads. And I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to go through the 4 steps of selling. And hey, maybe the local elementary school is having a fall festival. I'm going to set up a booth there, and I could have a call to action if I really wanted to push people to my trunk or treat. I could invite them to that, or I could set up a community event like a mass intro. And that's it. That's how you categorize all of the things that need to get done in order for the event to be a knockout of the park. And start with your major events. And then eventually you'll get this process down so well that you can start doing this for like parent night out events, right? Typically, most schools can sell out a parent night out event internally. But if you're struggling to sell those out, go through your 7 levels of marketing. Okay, guys, this this Google Calendar has been a complete game changer. I'm actually, for our Grow Pro clients, our masterclass next week, I'm breaking down the exact process on how we implement this. But if you are struggling with staying organized, this is the way that we stay organized. My manager grays out once she completes the item on the day. Every day there's an hour block to get calendar items done in her schedule. And then once she completes it, she grays it out. And for me, being an offsite school owner, that has been game changing in regards to holding them accountable on the things that they need to get done. Okay. If you are curious to how your current, let's call it, digital presence is online, we do offer a free marketing audit. And if you want this guide, so I have this guide right here that I used as the graphic. If you want to download that, you can get it by just going to our website at growproagency.com. It's an ebook that you can download, so you can have that. So I saw a couple of questions in here I'm going to answer. If you have any other questions that has to do with what we went over today, or anything else, especially maybe like parenting advice for a 17-month-old that is the most strong-willed child you've ever met in your life, which is what I'm dealing with right now, I could potentially help as well. All right, so it seems what used to be Facebook boosted posts are now simply Facebook ads. Is there still a difference? Yes, there's still a difference. Great question, Ms. Gustwick. Facebook is obviously trying to make it as easy as possible for them to take your money. And that's why they've revamped what the boosted post looks like. Typically, when you boosted a post years ago, it would be an engagement post, meaning that is an objective. There's 11 objectives inside of the Facebook Ads Manager. And engagement is one of the objectives. And all that means is it's going to serve it to people that are likely to engage with the ad. What does that mean? They like it, they heart it, they laugh at it, they comment it on the, or they share it. Does any of that equal a lead? No. Okay. So in the past, it would automatically create an engagement post. Now, when you boost a post, you have more options that you can do. However, it would be like, I'll use a music example. It would be like trying to play piano on a little mini piano versus playing on a full keyboard. You just don't have as many tools and resources that you can use, and you're not going to get the same data that is ultimately, I say this all the time, math is the path. You're not going to get those same data numbers because you're not inside of the ads manager. So you'll know what to keep on and what to turn off. Hey, I was late. Will this be available? It will. We will send it out potentially today, maybe tomorrow, depending on my marketing assistant's schedule, but 100% it'll go out within the next 24 hours. You'll get the slides and you'll also get the video. On your calendar, how far in advance do you promote an event? How far ahead do you plan the promotions? Great question. So at the end of every year, we do what's called our business roadmap. We plan out the entire next 12 months. We do this in between the Christmas and New Year holiday. My leadership team gets together. We use a huge dry erase board with color code markers, and we set up all of the different events throughout the year. Once we do that, I then take it and I dump it into the Google Calendar. The first 6 months are in quote unquote pen. The last 6 months are in pencil because things obviously change. Events, change dates, venues change. Sometimes they didn't, a company won't even know that they're having a festival until later on in the year. In regards to how advanced do I promote an event, typically we start about 4 weeks. I have a training on this. We have prep week, plan week, prime week, and pump week. So each week there's a specific focus. And then, so how far do you plan the promotions ahead? Yeah, it's about, we started in December and we're planning out for the entire year. And then we start promoting the event about 4 weeks out. I have a big bully event coming up at a fun park in the area. How should I start paid ads, and how much money should I throw at a lead magnet? I would start about 4 weeks out, Mr. Miller. Great question in regards to your bully event. One of the things that has worked really, really well for us in regards to the bully event is the organic social media post that we put out beforehand, utilizing statistics on bullying. And that really makes it very powerful. Mr. Miller, I'll email you my social media marketing pack that we use for Rise Above Bullies. It's a Canva template. So you can actually edit the images in Canva. You can swap out, my logo for your logo. And then we also took a page out of Roland Osborne's book, and we have the kids fill out a pledge. And the pledge is something that we display in the school as well. So we put that as a part of our marketing material. Because guys, here's the thing. How many schools claim that they're going to help bully-proof, parents' kids? I mean, all of us say that, right? So what makes it different? What's your unique selling point? Right. So I'll shoot that over to you. How much money should I throw at the lead magnet? So can you give me a little bit more? Is it for that particular bully event, or are you talking about for a specific lead magnet?
Every month I get, for my kickboxing, I have a ebook that I get from a group that they give me their name and email and phone number. And then I've been doing the same thing with Melody Schumann's blogs. For a name and email, I'll share her blogs. So
yeah, I mean, typically with paid ads, we would want to be at a minimum of a $30 a day budget to really to move the needle. I know what your budget is, sir. I don't know if you necessarily need to increase it outside of those 3 big marketing months. But yeah, typically like a single campaign, we would want to put anywhere between $25 and $30 per day for that campaign.
For how long do I push it though? Because
if you're getting, it depends on how many opt-ins, right? I mean, if you're getting opt-ins every single day, I would leave it on as long as you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? And for those of you that are requesting for me to email that to you, if you drop your email in the chat, I'll send it over. Any other questions on any marketing in general? I'm about to start a retargeting Facebook campaign. Should the video be 30 seconds? Great question. So retargeting is a little bit different because retargeting are people that already know you. If they already know you and they've already seen you somewhere, then they will have a little bit longer of an attention span. I would still try to keep it under 60 seconds though. But again, retargeting is kind of like going on the second date, right? They already know about you. So it doesn't need to be as short because you've already gotten their attention in a previous, a previous way. Does that make sense? And here's the thing with retargeting, you've got to be leveraging your testimonials, right? They already saw you. So why didn't they pull the trigger? Maybe they don't believe whatever your offer is going to work for them. So typically in retargeting ads, we like to utilize reviews. And that could just be you going to your Google review or your Facebook recommendation, copying and pasting in the ad itself, 5 little emoji stars, and then you have the testimonial. But in retargeting ads, utilizing that social proof is really going to help the most. All right, guys, I think I got all your emails. I'll shoot over the Canva link to you. Do you have a template for standard operating procedures? I actually have a course called the Black Belt in Business Blueprint, which teaches you how to put together your operations manual. You can grab that course by going to mayahub.com. Here's the thing about operations. We're all different, right? I mean, your checklist for opening your school is probably going to be slightly different than my checklist for opening my school. This is something that you need to get out of your head and onto paper. And the Black Belt in Business Blueprint will walk you through how to do it. And you do get a quote unquote template, but you've got to fill it out. Okay. All right, guys, I see a lot of thanks coming in. I appreciate your time and your energy. I'll shoot these emails over to you. If you need me, my email is midgettwister@gmail.com. Shoot me a Facebook message. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye-bye.